go to the view later.
No, thank you. I could not believe this.
Can I do one?
Hi everyone, welcome to Sense with Singh. So today I'm not going to tell you only about a fragrance. I'm also going to share a very personal lifetime experience of mine. So let's get this video started. So before I get into this fragrance, I am going to take you for a short trip to the lost city of Petra itself. So we begin at the entry gate and you start walking. This is all a trail and you cross the gin blocks and this is where you reach the start of As-Sikh. So As-Sikh is a trail through a gorge, and while you keep walking through this path, I will show you the views of this as well, and all of a sudden you reach the treasury. So the treasury is not exactly facing the street, so it comes partially in view and then completely in view. This is where the gorge ends. From here you enter an open area. There is a beautiful amphitheater here, very big amphitheater, and then you keep crossing this place till you reach this part, which is the end of the trail at Qasr al-Bint. Now Qasr al-Bint is a small castle in ruins, not exactly a big castle but just a small palace. From here starts the trail of the monastery, the Adder, and this is all a climb. So you climb up approximately 1100 steps and you reach the monastery. Now this entire trail is approximately 8 kilometers, number one, which is the easy trail, and then you have the Adder, which is 2.5 kilometers. So approximately 10.5 kilometers of a walk from the beginning of the entry gate to the treasury and right up to the monastery. So this is the basic map. Now let me show you some pictures here. So this is that sign that marks the entry to the Sikh, the street, and these are the kind of views that you will face. You see this, you walk through the gorges like these are huge walls of sandstone surrounding you, so it becomes narrow, it becomes a little wide at places as well. So thanks to my wife for this photo. And from there you have views like this, and it is a bit intimidating when you're walking through here. There's a lot of mystery. You never know what's going to be in front of you as you take a turn. So this is quite a beautiful walk, and there is a lot of history here. The Romans used to walk these places. This used to be a caravan route and everything. And there's my wife taking some pictures as well. And from there on you reach place, and this is another view. And you keep going and you keep going like this, and it's a, as you see, it's a long walk, but ultimately this is what you have been waiting for, a view of the wonder of the world. This is a beautiful facade, absolutely mind-blowing. When we reached here, I could not completely absorb the fact that this place is now in front of me. It had been in my bucket list for a long time, and I'm very happy I could make this trip with my wife. It's a memory of a lifetime. Look at that facade has been cut into the rock. It has been there for over 2000 years. This is such a fascinating place. A lot of hustle and bustle, so you can see the scale of the facade and you can see the two guards standing in front of it. So this is quite this looks like a two-story thing, but it is easily much bigger in scale. This is a panoramic view of the whole thing. It's a fisheye lens view, and you can see where the gorge is ended towards the right. You go right from here towards the street, and a memory of a lifetime yet again. And now we move towards the monastery. So I showed you this theater, the large theater. This is the theater. This is a partial panoramic view. You can see the steps, this is also cut into the rock. So this is quite amazing for its time. It was built by the Romans as a dedication to their emperor of the time. And you see facades like this as well, again all cut into the rock. This is way too difficult to do, and this is just marvelous engineering. So almost at the end of the level trail, we are on the right side of the main trail for capturing some views, and this is a partial panorama that in which you can see the colonnaded street as it was labeled in the map. Then you have these structures you can see that have been cut into the Rocky Mountains. And this is the Kasseral Bint that I had mentioned in the map. So this is basically the last structure here, and from here you go towards the right, just behind this mound, and from there begins your walk up, the climb I should say, of the Adder, the monastery. So let's begin our climb. So as you start your climb and you do it for a couple of minutes and you look back, and this is the view. You see those couple people, that is where the plain sandy kind of a trail is coming, and you start walking up steps. This is the view. This is the view. This is how you're climbing these old steps. Here I am again, thanks to my wife for these pictures. And you have scenes like these. All this is beautiful sandstone, and you have steps. You can see where the steps have been really used a lot, and eventually after almost 1.5 hours, this is where you reach. So an absolutely giant of a facade here, the monastery as it's known. So the monastery is a more bigger version of the treasury facade. You can see similarities, of course, the broken pediment and the basic Ionic and Corinthian Greek columns, I think they're here. And it is a big structure. It is a very big structure. Hey, that's a memory photo from here. And then you can see I'm almost 6 feet tall, and there I am in front of the door, so you can get an idea how big this structure is. So these are a couple of views of this very famous structure, the wonder of the world. And when you start your way down, again, this is what you see. As far as the eye goes, these are all beautiful rock formations. So let me zoom in a bit on this one. This is quite special. You see as we move in, and a little more facades start to show. As you move in, these are the facades you can see in the middle of the screen towards the right side. So these are the facades which are this is from where we came. So this is way too far away. It was a long walk. And then you have some scary ass views like this. I'm scared of heights. I should not have done this, but this was a lot of fun. And here we are again, all tired and exhausted almost. But to refresh you, when you reach back to the treasury again, the sunset just causes this beautiful, the golden hour is the perfect time to visit this place. Look at this color. This is so beautiful. Amazing views. The day charm is different, but the evening charm is just magical. I say that this is a magical land again and again, and I do not exaggerate it. This is worth the visit. This is worth consideration of at this time. These views do not justify the energy, the magic of this place. This is not a filter at all. This was the exact view that there was. Beautiful hues, the hues of red coming here. A lot of detail comes out at this time. You can see the Corinthian columns and that pediment. Beautiful structure, just mesmerizing absolutely. And this one is for the memoirs once again. So you start your walk back and you go through these trails again, through that gorge, and you have horse carriages as well, which can take you back and forth, but there is a totally different charm of walking this place. And here we are, taking our walk back. So thank you so much for joining me on this trip. Now it's time to go back to the fragrance. And now it's time for the fragrance itself. So before I tell you about the fragrance itself, Masque Milano created this fragrance, Petra, and this was interpreted by one of the finest perfumers of our generation, Cecile Zarokian. My conversation with the brand started during the unfortunate lockdown in 2020, and it started with Petra only. So they came out with this fragrance in 2020. It was a limited edition release, and Masque Milano has worked very hard to bring out quality fragrances. I have been in touch with the brand constantly since, and I have experienced the entire range, and I must tell you, those are creatively beautiful fragrances. If there are a certain number of check boxes that a fragrance needs to satisfy before being called excellent, Masque Milano fragrances cover all those. So today I'm gonna talk to you about Petra. So let's start with this. So I have this on my wrist. So this is going to be a beautiful experience. I know this fragrance, and it is gorgeous. Right, so this is a phenomenally beautiful rose-based fragrance. This is not a heavy rose, this is not a jammy kind of a rose, no, this is a sweet, gentle, very light in texture rose, which is supplemented by a number of notes. So let me read out these notes to you. So the head notes have bergamot, yellow mandarin and pink pepper. You definitely get a sweet yellow mandarin up here. This yellow mandarin is a very nice note. The bergamot is gentle, which is not that harsh. By harsh I mean heavy sweetness, because bergamots can be very dominant in the opening, but this one is very well balanced along with the yellow mandarin. The pink pepper note, the spiciness is just ever so slight, but basically it's not that typical nose piercing kind of a pink pepper. In the heart we have jasmine sambac absolute, Moroccan rose absolute, Lucaimat accord and fruity notes. So jasmine sambac again is a very sweet, very nice floral, and Moroccan rose is just too beautiful to have in a fragrance, and in here it shines marvelously. And as it is progressing very fast, this fragrance progresses very quickly. Lucaimat accord. So Lucaimat is basically a Turkish gulab jamun. My Indian friends would definitely understand gulab jamun. It is a dough which is fried and then dipped in sugar syrup. So that is something similar to what the Turkish people do. It is called Lucaimat. It has also called lokmat. So it has many names. Similarly, they also have a dessert called halabi. Halabi is a straight, thick jalebi. This is the same thing, just the shape is different. Yeah, so talk about the fragrance. So the beauty of the fragrance comes from the base. Now what is happening here is the base has a lot of volume to it. The fruity notes here are slightly sweet. That Lucaimat is giving is a sweet gourmand feel, sugary sweet, which is in balance with the fruity accord. So you see the complexity just in the top two, and the base is adding incense. Now the incense again, I will explain the relevance of these notes with the place as well. Just give me a moment for that. So this is very good. That happy fruity note complementing the roses, and that jasmine giving certain brightness, the yellow mandarin adding that sweetness, but the actual volume here is coming through the base accord, and the base has incense, patchouli, benzoin, myrrh, leather, ambergris fusion. Wow, how do you even think that? That is my point. And not just to think it, to bring it together in such harmony. It's an understatement to call Cecile Zarokian a legend already. So what happens is that incense, the patchouli. So patchouli here is again a sweet resinous one. There are 2-3 kinds of patchouli or even more in perfumery, but this one here belongs to that resinous sweet character. The benzoin adds another resinous volume. It is further accentuated by myrrh. So you see a very nice rose based fragrance with a lot of other notes in it. So let me show you this little souvenirs that I got from there. So whenever we travel, we pick up sand of that particular place and bring it back home. So this sand comes from Petra itself. I can get this in focus. This is a little too glossy, so you can see this is slightly there's a tinge of pink here, which I'll show you. So when you go further deep into Jordan, the desert color, there is actually a desert there which is named Pink Rose. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. You can identify this particular area which is slightly different. So this is a Pink Rose desert, and this is what it looks like. It's due to the lighting here, it is coming slightly orangish. I'll compare it to this. Now these are from Wadi Rum. Wadi Rum goes further south from Petra, but basically the whole area is made of, it has sandstone formations which have been eroded by wind over thousands of years. And so I have these, so just this is to give you an idea of the color. So when you experience this fragrance, it has that bright sunny vibe due to the bergamot and the yellow mandarin. Now the rose is a dedication of this, the color of the sand, the rose sand. It is so well thought and it is so well executed. Like if you are to experience this fragrance is going to transport you to that mental image of a red sandstone warm area where you're wearing this rich rose scent is there, and then there are the souks with those spices, that spice bazaars, and incense is being transported because myrrh, frankincense was worth more than gold back in that time. It was used for religious purposes and everything. So you can see the relevance of the place and how each element has been sensitively captured in this fragrance. This is so good. This bottle, the 100 ml bottle, is an absolute masterpiece. Check out this picture. Such a beautiful bottle, and you have this lady here who has a scarf around her. So she comes, and it says she comes in incense and patchouli. You know what? Incense and patchouli is an understatement. She comes in roses. She comes in a very bright aura. This is phenomenal, as I have said it already, because that is the word that truly explains the character of this fragrance. I've been experiencing this fragrance for a while now. I got the sample with my purchase of another bottle from the brand, which is another fragrance that I absolutely love. I've talked about Reflection a lot. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. This is overwhelmingly beautiful, sorry. But this is something to captivate you. This is addictive. This is dreamy. This is so dreamy. This takes you elsewhere. And the attempt, the execution, everything is to the dot perfect. So just imagine when the brief was handed over to the perfumer. So hats off to Alessandro and Ricardo for first imagining such a fragrance, for imagining the brief of the fragrance. And then you give this brief to the perfumer and she comes up with this. Hats off. There is a reason why I talk about this brand so highly, and this is the reason. The execution here is just marvelous. The quality is top notch, second to none, absolutely. Masque Milano is a house that needs way more attention than it gets. They have expanded their fragrance lines so well. There is something for everyone to love here. Even the fragrances that you don't like, you'll be like, I don't like it, but it is not bad. It is that kind of a connection that you have with the fragrances. So coming back to Petra, so this is roses, this is incense, this is citruses at the top. This is very well imagined. I love this fragrance so much. Now coming to its wearability, the wearability is very versatile. I can see, yes, it does lean feminine, but for the ones who are very deeply into perfumery, they would not mind wearing this fragrance. I'm talking about men as well. So in my opinion, this is a unisex fragrance, unisex rose fragrance. Yes, due to its notes description, I would say that it goes more towards the summer wear, but that depth of the base makes it a more of a winter fragrance as well. So you see, this can be something that can go all year round. This is very good. And talking about the performance, you wear 6 to 8 sprays of it. I wore about 3-4 sprays from the vial, and it projected well. So this is more than an arm's length, and it is detectable very quickly. If you keep sitting in the room, it won't fill up the room, but it will definitely give your presence to the room. This is that kind of a performer. So Petra by Masque Milano, it has my vote. It is a gorgeous fragrance. This is a bottle that I want to add. This is very good. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed traveling to Jordan with me once again, and many who haven't, I hope I inspired you to travel to that magical land. And the people there are so welcoming, so nice. I've said it earlier as well. It is a beautiful place to visit. It is an experience in its own self. A small country, yet a magical land. So Petra by Masque Milano. This was my review of it. I have loved it so much. I did not want to justify it with a written review only. So hence I thought of making this video as well. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you are my subscriber, thank you so much for supporting me always. I highly appreciate that. Connect with me on Instagram as well. I write a lot of reviews there. I do share my personal experiences as well there. And I hope you get to experience this fragrance. Petra by Masque Milano. Thank you so much for joining.